Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the first live Q&A session for the year of 2020. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year, Jai.
Happy New Year.
Welcome to the broadcast today.
Real pleasure, sir.
So, folks, if you're watching us, remember that this is a live Q&A we do every week on Saturday at 2 o'clock from our studios here in UK. When I say studio, it's our humble little office here, where me and Jai talk about everything to do with Hinduism. So it's been an interesting year last year, and we'd just like to take a moment to thank you all for your wonderful support by helping us in sharing the word, contributing to all the sessions with your questions, your comments, etc. And what I'd like at this moment is just to wish you all a very, very happy, healthy and prosperous 2020. So Jai, you're looking very colorful today. What's the session with red color jacket for?
No, you see, I'm a very mild-mannered, gentle Hindu, wearing orange and blue, light blue and white. Today, I'm in a bit more robust mood. That is why I'm wearing red, to show the robust mood, because we have this robust color as well. Now, you see, the reason why perhaps I look worked up is this. Recently, we've seen images in India of why Hindu youth are burning buses and going wild, saying we have to be less Hindu than we are. And it's getting tiresome. It's necessary sometimes not to live in an apologetic mode, but to take on a robust mode to respond to the serious challenges we face from Abrahamic tradition as well as the so-called secular forces. They are kind of keen to undermine Hinduism. So this is the reason why I'm wearing red. Let me first of all take on this idea of secularism.
Yeah.
You see, people say, Mr. Lakhani, India is a secular state and we must stop promoting Hinduism, etc. So then I have to tell them, please learn your secularism from the most mature secularist nation in the world, Britain. Come to Britain and you can learn secularism. Because the secularism that you are adopting is a half-baked, half-understood secularism. So it's necessary for you to grow up. I'll give you some examples. You'll be very surprised at these examples that I'm giving you. Suppose you're a secularist and you come to the UK and you find that, for example, Mr. Lakhani is able to teach Hinduism in every school in the UK, including the top school called, Eton College. Allowed, welcome, embraced. And if I go to India and try and teach Hinduism to a single Indian government school, I'll be kicked out. What kind of secularism is that? This mature secularism knows the role and relevance of religion and why it should be given exposure in the education system. Because it recognizes there are certain values that can be used by the religious teachings for the greater good. See, this is called mature secularism. And what have we got in India? I can't teach Hinduism to a single government school. So Hinduism has been kicked out of education system. This is the half-baked secularism that is being promoted, pushed across. This means you must not be fundamentalist Hindu. We are Hindus. Why do we recognize it and affirm it? That's all we are saying.
Why should we shy away from it?
Absolutely. So that's the first issue. So this is not secularism. This is a half-baked nonsense. The second issue is this. Suppose you come to the UK and suppose you found that all the money the churches collect is taken away by the government. It's for the greater good. And the church community can suffer, struggle, doesn't matter. The money has to be taken by the government coffers. Do you see that here in the UK? Nothing doing. Do they say, okay, let's take the money from the Church of England and give it to the needy people who want to go perhaps on pilgrimage? Do they do that here in this country? This is secularist country. So go and teach your own people what is secularism. The third area which really upsets me is this. They say we are becoming very fundamentalist and over Hindutva. Let me touch on this. Suppose today, you hear these people that somebody was, taking a cow for being butchered, and the Hindus got worked up and, took action. So this is horrible Hindutva. Now, I'm telling you an example. I live in England. Suppose in England, you took a dog to the abattoir to be killed so that it can be butchered and eaten up, because the Vietnamese people say dog meat is very healthy. So why don't you do that in UK? Try and do it here. Secular nation. Try and take one dog for being butchered and being eaten. Try in UK and sell hot dogs. In 2 ticks, you'll be kicked out. 2 ticks. Secular nation. But you try and touch the horse or the dog in this country, they'll cut you down. 2 ticks. And they allow this secularism. But in India, if somebody is very upset about the cows being taken to task like this, being murdered like this, oh no, you can't allow that. You must allow for it. Let me again touch on this cow issue. A lot of people make fun of Hindu cows. You see, look at the history of humanity. No exaggeration. Humanity was nothing but hunter-gatherers for about 90,000 years. Homo sapiens, thinking humans appeared about 90,000 years ago. For about 80,000 years, they were just hunter-gatherers, wild people, carrying spears and killing animals and going from one place to another. They can't settle down. They're just running after meat. Hunter-gatherers was the language used for the early man, early humanity. About 10,000 years ago, check out the history of humanity. They discovered this very interesting domestic animal called the cow that allowed the hunter-gatherers to settle down and farm, start settling down, having villages, settlements, language, everything developed because of this gentle animal that gave them ready supply of meat and protein throughout the year while the crops were growing. So this little animal, this gentle animal, has been the major contributor toward human civilization. Not Hindus, human civilization. If you want to pay respect to any animal, this cow is the person that deserves the greatest respect. No, but you see in England they say, oh, you can't eat the dog. Oh, even if the horse meat imported from France, they're big hoo-ha, the supermarkets were closed down. But in India, if you try and protect the cow, no, you can't do that. This is Hindutva, this is horrible. See, this is the immature secularism. I'll give another example, not enough. I need to rub it in. Suppose, you got a painter here. You talk about liberal England with artistic freedom. And suppose you're a painter here, and the painter decided to show his artistic freedom by showing the queen of this nation copulating with a horse. The queen loves horses. Suppose she's shown having copulation, intercourse with a horse, and then you put it in a gallery in Piccadilly Circus. Do you think the queen will be so happy? Oh, you're such a clever person. Come, I give you knighthood. You'll be called Sir Hussain. Would they do that? No. They'll knock him out in 2 ticks. There are certain sensitivity every nation has, and you mustn't overstep it. But in India, when they did it, one artist did it, and the Congress government gave him Padma Bhushan and Padma Shri and everything. See the difference? Would the queen here give him knighthood? This is called mature secularism, where you respect the sensitivity of people. And that India is exhibiting a very immature secularism. And some of these media people, kind of little bit half-baked knowledge, kind of, we have to be secular. What secular? Learn to be secular here. And stop vilifying our nation and our tradition and our religion. So, these are the things that really work me up. It's understandable. And I've really got a list of things that really upset me.
Yeah, just go ahead and go through them so we don't miss any points. Because it's a very touchy topic at the moment. Touch on it.
The other thing is this, they're saying that by being a fundamentalist Hindu, you are not respecting people of other religion, other tradition. Check us out. Check us out. My friend, check us out. No nation in the whole world has given dignity, allowed people of other tradition to live with them, continue to practice their tradition without imposition. No other nation, nowhere. Even in Britain, if I come a few hundred years ago, they'll lynch me if I brought Hinduism. They'll lynch me, they'll kill me, saying you're a witch. So the only nation for thousands of years, they took on the ancient Christian Syrians, they took on the Zoroastrians. By the way, Zoroastrians, whenever I go to interfaith meeting, a Zoroastrian will say, Mr. Lakhani, do you know why we are still Zoroastrian? Because of you guys. You allowed us to exist. We have given respect to people of other tradition for thousands of years, not hundreds, thousands of years, and respected them, allowed them to stay with us and practice their tradition without any imposition. And then they say, no, but you are not. We are giving special favor to Hinduism. In fact, we have made Hinduism a villain in India. The nation that is the heart of Hinduism has been asked to vilify Hinduism in the last government. This is horrible. So I just give one example, cutting example, to show how vastly magnanimous we have been. The Zoroastrians are lovely, sweet people. We give them shelter, they live with us, and they have contributed to India tremendously. Tata is the best example. Now, one of the weird, if I can use the word, unusual practice of Zoroastrian is this. When somebody dies, they don't bury, they don't cremate. There's a practice they carry out, which is considered to be placing the dead body in it's called a circle of dead people. So a silent circle. Now this zone of silence means they keep the dead body there for the vultures and the crows to eat the body. Now this is practiced in Mumbai today. It's allowed to be practiced in India today, in Malabar Hill. Now suppose you went to Buckinghamshire here and said, we've got these Zoroastrian people, these are lovely Tata people, and why don't we allow this tower of silence to be built in Buckinghamshire? Try it. They'll close you down in 2 ticks. So the secularism that we already possess is far superior than English secularism. And yet, oh, we have to be secular. What secular? Learn from us. Other religions, other traditions, other nations can learn from us how to live with people of other religion as well as no religion. We've got the best track record. You just, we can't be Hindu, Hindutva can't be promoted. Why not? We are a Hindu nation. Why should we be apologetic about it? So these are, if you like, some of the examples that we can throw in the face of the rest of the world, saying, if you want to be secular, truly secular, we have the answer. Look, one step the modern secularists don't have is this. If you talk the British Humanist Association, they say equality. The important thing is human rights. Give equal dignity to every human being. It's a wonderful idea. We love it. I say, okay. Now I'm asking you why. All human beings are different. Some are very intellectual, some are idiotic, some are very clever, some are not clever. They're all different colors. Everything is different. Why should we give them equality? They are unequal in every sense. Intellectually, physically. Why should we give equality to them? They don't know. Richard Dawkins doesn't know. Only answer comes from us. Not because the same carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen go together. The reason is something very special underpinning every living thing, every human being is the same one that manifests through different forms, different human forms. That is why, because the underpinning is the same, give equal dignity. Not because what appears is not equal at all, is unequal. The answer doesn't come from the British humanists or the secular lobby. We have the deeper answer to secularism. Why give equal dignity to all living things, especially to human beings? So this is, if you like, they are very cutting issues. And I like to fire this back to the India, because when I see images of little Hindu students getting fired up saying, we have to go anti-Hindu now, it's terrible, and burning buses, I said, go back to your school and learn, go back to your college and stop firing against Hinduism. This is what has been holding you, protecting you for thousands of years. Stop vilifying it.
Well, one thing I definitely can never condone is destruction of anybody's property or even government property. That is not called for in any way. That is not allowed in my sort of understanding of things. It should not be allowed.
Nishit, I always carry on because I'm really worked up to see red jacket and all that. The other lobby that is very keen to undermine Hinduism, apart from the secular lobby, I already put them in the place. What I've said makes sense to you. You can use it to take on the secular movement in India head on. We are the genuine secularists. Forget about this nonsense that is now parading as Hinduism, parading as half-baked secularism that you're promoting. The other challenge we face is from the Abrahamic tradition. Now this is serious too. I get so many emails, so many calls saying, Mr. Lakhani, conversions are taking place, abductions are taking place, women are being forced to convert throughout in India as well as in Pakistan, Bangladesh. Please do something about it, Mr. Lakhani. It's not allowed. Why do you allow this? Let me come clean. Why are the Abrahamic tradition so keen to expand? First of all, I'm telling you very bluntly, Christianity is struggling big time in United Kingdom.
Is it because they are in a decline in the Western world? So
they have no place to live, so they have to go to the third world where there is some gullible population that can be taken for a ride into believing Christianity. The thinking youngsters in the UK are moving away from Christianity in droves. All the churches are abandoned. Check it out. So they, in order to protect their tradition, they are moving to the third world. And India loves spirituality, so they like to go to there. But how do they promote their tradition? See how nasty it is. You see, the one thing they do, the Christian missionaries did, is very simple. In one hand, bread, in another hand, Bible. If you want to eat, survive, go to good school, your children, adopt the Bible, convert. See? Now, you may think this is fair enough. In some way, they're still doing good to the poor people. Think about it. Their mentor, Christ, when he went first time to Jerusalem to the temple, the Jewish temple, do you know first thing he did? He saw the money traders doing business in the temple. He kicked their tables away saying, you are a den of thieves. These are the words he used. If you sell religion, you are a den of thieves. These are the words of Jesus. So now these Christian missionaries are going out doing the same thing, bread and Bible. So he must be saying, what the hell are these guys doing in my name? See, Christ was a genuine person, a truly spiritual giant. And yet the way it's being promoted or presented, used for evangelical purposes, it goes against his teaching straight away. Just talk about the Christ entering the temple. And by the way, I must cut a comment about some of the Hindu movements. I'm very sad to say some of the Hindu movements are doing the same. They're turning Hinduism as if you're like a money-making machinery. They may mean well. Some people say, but some good is still coming out. I said, no, they must give up this idea of using religion for money-making. I give you the best example. The example is the Ramakrishna movement. If you donate 100 pounds, say, give it to the poor, all the 100 pounds will go to the poor. Not a penny will go to any of the swamis or the administration cost. No, zero administration. It's genuine. They're not trying to make money out of it, turning it into a commercial enterprise. And that is how all temples should be run. Don't use them like a den of thieves, as Christ said, to a money-making opportunity. But some Hindu movements, I must say this very blatantly, in India and in UK, are turning their temple bodies into money-making machinery. This goes against the teaching of Hinduism. So anyways, this idea of Christianity coming through like this, the other tricks they use is very standard stuff. They will say, look, either you convert or you go to hell. Standard thing. They fear and fraud. Now this is, that can't be real. Why should somebody genuine should be sent to hell just because it doesn't embrace the religion? Why? It doesn't make sense whatsoever. That means this God is a very nasty fellow. So it doesn't make sense. And the other issue that is very worrying is this. They say that if this idea of reincarnation that is at the heart of Hinduism re-enters the market, their whole theology collapses. Whole theology of Abrahamic tradition is do goody-goody, eat, drink, burp, be a good Christian or whatever, and you end up in heaven permanently. You sorted yourself out. And suddenly this Jay is coming. Jay comes in with his Hinduism saying, look, my friend, no heaven waiting for you. You come back in nappies. And the whole theology crashes. All the three Abrahamic traditions theology will crash if reincarnation resurfaces in this world. That is why they will not allow Hinduism. That is why they are so keen to undermine it. Because if Hinduism wins, all the traditions are killed out, destroyed. The other thing is exclusivism. We alone are right. Now Hindus say no. There are many different ways. And some can be non-religious even to be spiritual, and this will destroy their tradition because they say we alone are right. They will alone come to Christ, to come to go to God who come through Christ. All this is destroyed. So exclusivism is compromised. Idea of heaven and hell is compromised. How can they allow this Hinduism to enter? In fact, I'll tell you a funny story. When I was appointed at the first Hindu tutor at Eton College, I thought next day all the newspapers will have my petty picture. This is Lakhani. Nothing appeared. So I asked the BBC journalist. I said, why didn't? Not a single man mentioned that the first Hindu tutor appointed by Eton College.
They're not interested in promoting Hinduism.
No. They said very simply, Mr. Lakhani, do you throw bombs? I said, no, you won't appear then. See, it's the only way I can get into the BBC, make BBC do good documentaries about Hinduism, the art and the culture and the philosophy of Hinduism is if I throw bombs. Now, I'm not going to go down that line. But you see how poor things are. They're frightened of Hinduism, and they will only take notice of us if we become much more robust in the way we present ourselves. So that's what I keep doing on BBC whenever I get a chance. Anyway, these are the issues that kind of, in a way, come from the Abrahamic tradition. That's why I had to make a list. There's so many things that work me up. One other funny story I must say. Once I was debating with a Christian minister. He said, Mr. Lakhani, we are not trying to convert. We're just spreading the good news. Lovely language. How can I stop somebody spreading the good news? So I said, oh, wonderful, but I'm very naughty. My response is equally naughty. I said, good, very good. You see, one Christian minister, he was head of London Interfaith Centre, told Mr. Lakhani, Vivekananda speaks with the same authority as Christ. I said, good, you understood. He comes with the same dynamism as Christ. I said, then my issue is this. You see, Vivekananda was only born about 150 years ago. Christ was born about 2,000 years ago. So we got the latest edition of news from Vivekananda. And do you know what they say about all news? All news is no news. So you want to spread the news, spread the modern news means must be the latest. And the latest edition comes from Vivekananda, unfortunately not from Christ. This is my response. I have to be very robust sometimes and sometimes very cutting in order to make sure that our tradition is preserved, its dignity is not undermined. Unfortunately, when I see the Hindu youth going against Hinduism, that is why I put on the red jacket, said, stop it guys, stop it, you have no right to do that. So that went on quite a lot.
That's fine, but Jaybai, India has traditionally been a very magnificent set of people, right? Up till the past few hundred years, we've always had a rich and vibrant tradition and a big history of major personalities. But ever since the Mughal sort of takeover of India, and then we had the British colonizing it, we have been on the back foot and like you've been saying on an apologetic sort of mode. And I think it is time people should wake up and face up to the challenge and shake off this apologetic mode and be
Vibrant.
proud of
Yes.
being a Hindu.
True. In fact, look, when I was studying Indian history, we all taught Indian history in schools. I mean, before your time perhaps. And the only Indian history I learned was the Mughal names. Babur and then Shah Jahan and then, nothing but the list of, Mughal emperors. Not a single name of a single Hindu empire, the Gupta Empire, the Chola Empire, nothing was mentioned. So you see, we are completely at the mercy of outsiders writing our history. But by the way, at the moment there are some vibrant Hindus in the system who are rewriting the history of India with the correct formulation without getting kind of this imposition from outsiders saying this is your history. We are producing our own history, thankfully, but this is still an issue. You see, you have to, at some stage, surely you must stop being apologetic about our tradition. One person said, can India declare itself to be a Hindu state? I say, why not? Only nation that is truly spiritual and can put the flag of spirituality as its national emblem is India. I give an example. See, all the Christian nations, Europe, USA, Canada, whatever, they openly declare themselves to be secular nations because they know that religions are not the central backbone of that nation at all. The reason is very simple. When you ask economists, what are the driving forces of the Western world? They'll tell you very bluntly, it is sex and dollar, Mr. Lakhani, that drives the Western world. So they can't
not religion.
Not religion, it's never been there. So sex and dollar control the Western world, so they can't call themselves Christian even. Because Christ said, lust and gold you must avoid. And these are embracing it. So they can't call themselves Christian nation. But one nation that can easily put up the flag of tradition, our religious tradition, is India. It has always focused on spiritual aspiration rather than material aspiration. That's why it didn't go out to conquer other people. So if one nation can declare itself to be a truly religious nation, it is us. So if somebody says, why can't India call itself Hindu nation? I say, go ahead, call yourself Hindu nation. You are Hindu, you've been Hindu for 5,000 years. Just a few hundred years of outside intrusion doesn't mean you must give up this emblem and say, no, we are secular and nonsense. So grow up. Assert your true dignity as Hindus. Nothing wrong, my friend. You don't know how powerful your tradition is.
And like J. Bhai always says, use your rational faculties before you start jumping onto comments and doing actions online and elsewhere about this kind of a topic. So just a very quick hello to Sagar S, Praveen Kumar, Siddharth Malhotra. We got Upender Vamshi, Trushar Patel, Dilip Kondepati, Darshan, Devashish Misra, Sajan Warrior. We got so many viewers. Thank you so much for joining us. What I'd like you to do, this is our first broadcast for the year. So help us to share it. So talk to your, share the link to your friends. Start a watch party if you're on Facebook. Let other people join in on the conversation. Thank you very, very much. So folks, we just discussed a very lengthy topic, which was how to respond robustly to the challenges of anti-Hindu elements in India at the moment. Now we got another fantastic little follow-up question to this, which is that we have a number of topics which are currently being used to demean Hinduism. This includes polytheism, idolatry, caste system, being unfair to non-Hindus, Kali, the holy cow, and Puranic stories. Okay. There are so many ways these things have been misused and misconstrued and used to put Hinduism in a negative light.
Very true.
Can you help us to navigate all of this and help the viewers understand how to overcome these challenges if they hear somebody talking about Hinduism in a negative light using one of these kind of topics?
Okay. You see, we can turn the challenges on its head. Challenges become opportunity to promote the deeper vision that we possess that other religions don't have. So I'm going to do that. First one, the biggest one is, I get it all the time, is polytheism, many gods. How can you have many gods, Mr. Lakhani, all these? Straight with the response is very simple, very beautiful. We are not polytheist, we are pluralistic tradition, recognizing a variation of approaches in making spiritual progress. This is called spiritual democracy. It's the heart of Hindu tradition, not me putting it up. You go to a little village and ask a little old lady, do we have many gods? She says, no, one god, many names and forms. They'll tell you bluntly, this is called pluralism, right at the heart of our tradition. So we have always been a pluralistic tradition, recognizing variation in the way we become spiritual. So this is something that is not to be used to vilify Hinduism, that is the one to promote Hinduism. I'll tell you how. If people in the modern world want to live, people of different religions in the modern world want to live at peace with each other, or even live at peace with the people of their own tradition with slight variation, the only way they can do it genuinely is using pluralism. Suppose you belong to this one religion, but there's a different faction in your, there are two factions in your tradition. The only way they can live with each other without bombing each other, which are killing each other, is to say pluralism. My friend, you like the ceremonials, you're Catholic, good for you. Oh, you don't like ceremonials, you're Protestant, good for you. This is your way, don't try and kill each other. They've been killing each other for hundreds of years now. The only way you can stop killing in the name of religion, or even in the same religion you're killing each other, is to adopt pluralism that we are promoting. Pluralism, many ways to be spiritual, recognize it. Do you think that we have to do that? Because if they embrace this idea, the Abrahamic faiths are finished in 2 ticks, because they can't promote exclusivism, we alone are right. It's gone first in 2 ticks. So there is no way they'll promote it. In fact, I had to fight the Religious Education Council of England and Wales saying, promote the idea of pluralism in the future, because for the students to know about many ways to be spiritual, allow for it. No, Mr. Lakhani. So I have this has been an ongoing story. So pluralism is not polytheism, and pluralism, and why is it so relevant? This will stop fighting in the name of religion for good, in a genuine manner. First issue. The second issue they throw in our face is very simply, you are idolatrous.
Jibai, before we come to that, a lot of people may not really have grasped what is the difference between pluralism and polytheism.
Yes, let's
again just give a very short answer. What's the difference between polytheism and pluralism?
Yes, very simple. You said the reason is this. Suppose you belong to a particular sectarian movement, or belong to some particular social structure in some part of India. Suppose you live in a village in Gujarat. They like to think of ultimate reality as Mother Goddess. They love Mataji and they love and sing and dance. That is their way of becoming spiritual, relating to ultimate reality as a mother figure. But suppose you live in South India and you like Shiva, ultimate reality is Shiva, and people say, yes, we love Shiva. That is the way they are becoming spiritual, using different name and form to the same ultimate reality. And this is not something that is conjured up by Mr. Lakhani in modern days. This comes from the Rig Veda, the most ancient scripture in the world. It says, Ekam Asatya Vipara Bahuta Vadanti. The same ultimate can be thought of in different ways. Different names and forms can be given to the same ultimate reality. So names and forms are different, guaranteed to be different, because they reflect different social and cultural groups in India, and we are fine with that. So if I am a Shiva devotee and if I go to a Vishnu temple, I don't feel upset. I say this is the way they like to think ultimate reality. Vishnu, good for them. So this is why pluralism is ingrained in India. Thankfully, it's ingrained, and this is the best example of how people of other religions can truly embrace pluralism without thumping each other. And this is why it's a crucial element of our tradition. It's good that you asked me to give in detail why it's the variation.
Can I sum it up in my own way I've understood it? So polytheism is where you have many different gods. Each one is separate from each other.
And they're all ultimate.
They're all ultimate. And what pluralism is, that there's only one ultimate God, but there are very different forms or names that you can give to that one ultimate reality. Perfect. So that is the difference.
Perfect, sir. You really summarized extremely well.
Brilliant. Okay, so we go to idolatry now.
Idolatry is another issue they're kind of throwing in my face, saying, Mr. Lakhani, God is infinite. You can't give it finite form. Even the Jews, I'm telling my experience. I took a very, very intelligent Jewish academic to a Hindu temple. I said, let's go inside. He said, no, I can't come in. I said, what's wrong? He says, this is the way Hindus like to worship. No, I can't come in. He said, in Judaism, he says, thou shalt not make graven images of thy God, and you are doing it left, right, and center. I'm not going to come near you. So he stayed outside. True story. So what is going on? What is going on? Infinite cannot be made finite. Horrible. And I've been very rude and very nasty. I say, look, my friend, you call your God infinite? They say, yes. Does he have infinite powers? They say, sure. Then I ask a very crude and rude and rough question. I say, does he have the power to become finite? Does he have one button? Ding! Goes, wee! They say, they don't know how to reply. If they say he doesn't have the button, that means he's not infinite enough. He's missing one power. And if they say he's infinite, then I say, why is he not using that button? Our God keeps using the button. Your God doesn't do it. This is horrible. So when I do that, they're gobsmacked. They don't know how to reply. So we are not apologetic regarding the ultimate reality, taking on a human form and interacting with us as Ram or Krishna or Buddha. We have no difficulty. So they have difficulty, but we don't have difficulty. And we are not idolaters one bit. Every tradition, religious as well as what you call secular tradition, will use some kind of iconography to relate to some subtle ideas. That's what quantum physics is about. There's no reality, it's just squiggles. And suppose you ask somebody, oh, what is infinite? Can you put on the blackboard? So, I'll swagger up to the blackboard and write a little twiddle. Say, that's infinite. I say, that's not infinite. That's number 8 that had too much to drink in New Year's Eve. It's toppled over. He said, no, you know what I mean? I said, I know what you mean, but you've not done that. That's not mean that's finite. See, you use finite symbolism to relate to the infinite. We are not apologizing. We love it. And we love these colorful gods and goddesses. Why not? You see, our tradition is the one the most colorful tradition. The others are all blonde, black. And he said, no color. We like to bring color to life. So that is why all our gods and goddesses are very well dressed. We love this idea of ultimate reality taking on different names and forms, a mother goddess, a father god, whatever. And we love to relate to them, embrace them, and are we attracted to these colorful gods and goddesses. We are not at all 1% apologetic about showing our gods and goddesses as images.
You're definitely right. Wherever you go in whichever religion, they have some sort of an image or some symbol to represent some aspect of the religion.
Absolutely. For example, go to a Christian church, there's a cross, wooden cross, and they're bowing down. It's a wooden cross. No, Mr. Lakhani, Christianity. See, symbolism. Or suppose I go to a Jewish synagogue.
Yes.
And I went once, and there was this something, ark in the middle, like a little chest. And I went nearer to touch. He said, Mr. Lakhani, you can't touch. That's the ark. Sacred. I said, this is a wooden chest. No, you can't touch it. See what you're doing?
Symbolism.
Every religion will use symbolism or a direction, saying this is the direction of God. See, like that, they'll kind of, in a way, articulate using some different methodology to relate to something subtle.
What about the caste system?
Again, this is another thing that's thrown in our face again and again, and I love to take it on. And I've done a very robust program with BBC that's already on the YouTube. And I take the challenge back into the lobby. I say, look, you see, every society, every civilization since very ancient time has a habit of stratification. It's human nature. We stratify. I, for example, like Nishit Bhai, so I kind of get in touch with him and keep in touch with him. There are some people I don't like in our traditions. I keep away from them. We stratify. So human beings have been stratifying this for thousands of years. All civilization, including the communist civilization, you stratify people. So stratification is natural. But then that is fair enough, and that is the only comment we passed in the Rig Veda, saying different people have different abilities, so they can group together, kind of focusing on certain abilities. They may be intellectual, they may be action-oriented. That is how we started. Very simple. Your abilities will dictate what you are capable of. Simple as that. That's how we started in Rig Veda. But in no time, it turned into a very nasty, divisive, hereditary, hierarchical caste system. It's happening everywhere, by the way. Eton College and the English class system is precisely that. So it turns into a hereditary, hierarchical system. Why does it become hereditary? It's very simple, very common sense. We can understand why things become hereditary. Suppose I love physics. I would love to make my daughter turn to physics that I can teach her better, isn't it? Because it's my natural skill, I can pass it on to her. So there's a tendency for me to push my daughter to adopt my profession. This is how it became hereditary. A person, suppose skilled in making, say, pots, will love to pass on his tradition to his son, saying, this is how you make pots. It's an easy way to pass on that knowledge. So it becomes easily hereditary. It's human nature to pass on our skills to our next generation.
I think even in the times of before, all kinds of teaching was oral and by virtue of physically doing things.
Yes,
there was no internet, there was no library as such. What people had access to was their experience hands-on and oral tradition.
That's how it became hereditary.
That's how people pass on their skills and secrets.
This is how it became hereditary. Again, the Hindu tradition never promoted hereditary caste. It doesn't say Brahmin son is Brahmin. Never said that. In fact, chapter 18 of Bhagavad Gita defines the Brahmin in a very unusual manner. Not somebody born as a Brahmin, but somebody is basically content by nature, is always truthful and leads a God-centered life or a spiritual life. They say this is a Brahmin. An Englishman walking across can be a Brahmin on that basis.
On that basis, yeah.
So this is why the characteristic that we're talking about defines you as which caste you belong to. That's all we said. It became hereditary, and the worst thing is it became hierarchical. This is again human failing. There is always a tendency for human beings to group together and then control others. Now you may think, oh, this is old-fashioned, horrible thing the Hindus adopted. It is visible in the world today. Look, today you see all these wars going on in the Middle East. What's happening? There are some first world powers that are very keen to control the third world countries because of oil reserves. We just heard the news. Yes. So they are very keen to control. This is hereditary hierarchical caste system internationalized. So a group of people who are in a stronger position want to control the people who are in a weaker position by imposing themselves on them, stealing their oil, And that is visible on the world stage today. This is hereditary hierarchical caste system internationalized now, visible. It's human failing, nothing with religion. So, but the Hindus, you are horrible. We are not. In fact, I go to schools here, colleges here. In fact, BBC did a program on caste system recently. It was a horrible program. I just show you how bad it was. They found one girl, a Gujarati girl, who was doing carpentry. And the BBC said, see, hereditary caste system practiced in the United Kingdom. I said, one little girl making a little kind of thing with a little, little saw. You can't call it hereditary caste system in UK because 99% of Hindus who come to this country are either studying medicine, pharmacy, optician, and they are not doing this thing that their forefathers were doing, sowing seed and farmers. They all switched in 2 ticks. But you found one girl doing a little bit of carpentry, hereditary caste system in UK. And this poor horrible program on caste by BBC, they cut me out completely because I would go against what they were talking about. But they wanted to continue to promote Hinduism as this weak, horrible, monstrous religion with hereditary caste system in UK. The girl cutting with a carpentry knife, horrible hereditary caste system in UK. And the other thing they were showing is to show this is hierarchical. They went to university and said, one student said, see, that sofa set is only for the Brahmin boys. Now the Brahmin boys don't give a damn if they're Brahmin or non-Brahmin. They sit wherever they like and drink whatever they like. So such nonsense was being presented in the UK, in BBC, saying hereditary hierarchical caste system in the UK visible. And I was laughing and not laughing but crying actually, saying this is horrible. But this is the standard problem we have when it comes to the caste system.
I think the world has changed a lot since the days of maybe 200, 300, 400 years ago. And nobody even practices caste system at all. They'll be laughed at and
nobody
chased out of the door. So what about something like being unfair to non-Hindus?
Again, you see, I just touched on the example of the Zoroastrian community.
Yes.
You see, we have given them the best dignity, ability to practice their own tradition without any imposition. UK won't give them that dignity. We have given them that dignity. So when people say we are becoming too Hindutva and kind of focusing on the Hindus, Hindu fundamentalism and fanatic tradition, I said, what? We have the best track record in the world of how we interact with people of other tradition as well as no religion. We love atheists because they keep us on our toes saying, how can you believe in God? So they force us to learn, let me experience God for myself. So that is why we don't mind atheists. Hindus can be atheists, Hindus. And we don't mind. We live happily with them because saying they are keeping us on our toes, making us saying, how can you be sure? And this is the way to progress. So we have always been magnanimous to people of other tradition as well as no religion. We've always been magnanimous. Look up our history. Oh, but we saw a news item that one priest home was somebody had thrown a stone at the glass window of a priest. Come on, these things will happen. But overall, our tradition, our background is AAA. When it comes to dealing with people of other religion as well as no religion, AAA. Nobody can come near us, including Britain.
Well, where has the time gone? We're almost 40 minutes into the broadcast. We only covered 2 topics. We still have a few other things to go on this one particular topic, but for sake of time, I'm going to move on. We talked about using the issue of the holy cow against Hinduism, and we've already covered it at the start of the broadcast, that the cow is actually one of the things we should be proud of and not something that Hinduism should be vilified with. And the same thing with Puranic stories.
I tell you.
If you just catch up with any one of our broadcasts, you will hear Jai talking about it almost every broadcast, that Puranic stories are stories.
Look, the other way the Abrahamic tradition like to vilify Hinduism is very simple. They'll pull out something from the Puran. Now, Puran means legendary story. They pull out something from the Puran and say, Hinduism, Brahma was chasing after his daughter. You're, incestuous. Horrible. How can a father just chase after a daughter? You're horrible. How can you believe in a God like that? They say, look, guys, this is colorful narrative. We don't remember any Brahma chasing after any Saraswati and all that. So it's written up in the colorful narrative and we've grown out of it and we used it. These colorful narratives are useful, but they come with this very, very important health notice saying these are legendary stories. And some of our own Puranis are very poor at recognizing this. They don't mention it to the youngsters. They treat them as legendary stories, then you are saved. No, this has happened. And this is why the Abrahamic tradition love to pick on this, and the Hindus say, yes, he said it's in the Bhavishya Puran, and they kind of nod and say, oh dear, this guy knows more than us, and we are horrible people. So they undermine us using Puranic stories. Grow up, and when they use a Puranic story, tell them, it's Puran, leave us alone.
Brilliant. So Jai, I'm going to stop on this topic for now, because we need to move on. We've got loads of things to cover still. So viewers, if you've been enjoying the discussion so far, remember to give us a like or a thumbs up, share the broadcast if you're on Facebook, start a watch party, help us share this first broadcast of the year. Now, before we go ahead, I'm going to throw Jay-Bhai a googly, and this one is not from me, but this is actually a question for you. What were some of the highlights of the last year for you when it comes to either this topic or professionally, personally? What do you want to share with the viewers? I'm sure they'll be keen to know.
Okay. See, I've been very fortunate because I was struggling. I used to give lectures at many universities. I must have talked to about 20 universities in the UK. I go regularly to the PGC courses, postgraduate course in Hinduism. I teach there, Oxford and everywhere. And I would go to some of the Hindu societies, and there will be 20, 30 youngsters very keen to know Hindu. They applaud me, say, "Oh, very good, Mr. Lakhani, we like you." So I spent nearly 22 years of my life just doing that, driving left, right, and center, going to some primary school in Hertfordshire just to talk to the primary school children. I was doing it all my life. I devoted my life for Hinduism. So I used to travel all over the place, get really tired, drained, because I don't get food. Maybe I'm driving in a countryside road, and I've been doing it for 22 years. So I'm struggling, saying, how do I put across my ideas to the greater public, into the greater market? I was struggling. So last year, I've been very fortunate for me. First of all, I discovered this chap sitting next to me. He turned up from nowhere. So I think it's divine providence. He turned up from nowhere. The next most important thing that happened to me is this. Suddenly, when I was going to the gym, and somebody said, "Mr. Lakhani, what are you doing?" "I'm trying to promote our tradition. It's so difficult. I put it on YouTube and a few hundred people watch it. It's not good enough." He said, "Why don't you hit WhatsApp?" I said, "WhatsApp? What's that?" I didn't even know how to pronounce it, how to spell it even. Then I linked up. This is the magic tool that we talk about magic. We love magic in religion. This is the magic tool for Hinduism. Because if I want to promote these wonderful ideas to the masses without spending thousands of pounds, I don't have so much money. How can I do it? WhatsApp. Boom. Because once you send out a WhatsApp, and that's what you're doing on a daily basis, once you send out a WhatsApp clip, it can be 100,000, 10,000. We send out to 20,000 people from London. Mm-hmm. From there it multiplies. We don't know how far. It will go to millions, I suspect, because I get my own clips back to me. So they're going all over the world. They keep multiplying. They don't die. WhatsApp doesn't die. It just keeps multiplying like a virus. You can use the word virus. It grows. So our WhatsApp material, our WhatsApp activity in the last 1 year has been the highlight for me. It has allowed me to do what I've been trying to do, promote our beautiful tradition to our own people as well as people of other tradition in a sincere manner, because this is something to uplift humanity, not Hindus, uplift humanity. So this wonderful thing I was doing was confined with my limitation of physical driving. Now it has become internationalized without having to travel, go to other different countries and set up lecture podiums and give lectures. I don't have to do that. I just do this, and people say, "Yeah, he talks sensible stuff. It's good for him." So this is what I'm doing. This is my highlight.
Brilliant. So from my side, I just want to say thank you to all the viewers who've been supporting us, especially on the YouTube channel, because let me read out some of the stats of the last 1 year. You, the viewers on YouTube, have viewed the videos. 5.8 million minutes have been viewed on our channel in the last 1 year. We've had 1.22 million views of the videos, and we've added 14,400 people or subscribers to our channel. So thank you very, very much, everybody who has been supporting us in our journey so far. So Jay-Bhai, we are now going to go into some of the questions that the viewers have been posing for us.
Can I just take on one question that the viewer sent to me, and I said, yes, I'll take it up.
Yes.
He said, "Mr. Lakhani, I've heard about the law of attraction. That means if you repeat to yourself that you want certain kind of aims in life, you want to fulfill certain aims in life. If you keep repeating to yourself that you want to fulfill certain aims, then like magic, you will be able to do that." He said, "Is it true? It's called law of attraction. You attract goodness towards you." We say, yes. In fact, the swastika symbol is the best example. Let goodness come to us from all corners. If you truly believe in a particular, suppose you have a particular aim, I want to become spiritually enlightened, let's say, and you keep repeating that to yourself every day. Suppose you say, I want to be a rich person. Simple as that. If you keep repeating that stuff to yourself every day, day and night, think about becoming rich or becoming spiritual, then according to Hinduism, your mind is so powerful, it will bring about the changes that will give you that will fulfill your requirement. So we believe that your mind is so powerful that if you keep insisting that you want certain aims to be achieved, then those aims will be achieved, because if you, as it goes with law of attraction, you will attract goodness to come to you.
So, Jay-Bhai, in today's world, a lot of people have moved to atheism. They can't relate to the concept of God in the traditional manner. So we've got one of our viewers, is Praveen Kumar, is on YouTube, and he's asked a question that, am I a Hindu only if I believe in the concept of God?
No, in fact, the whole of Hinduism started without God. You say, no, I never knew that. Oh, yes.
Was it when sort of like going towards nature and all of
that's right. The initial search we started, real Hinduism started with, I would say, Sage Kapil, whether it's real or made up, I don't know. He is the first individual who said, I want to make sense of myself. Who the heck am I before I make sense of the world? Because if I'm a dunce, then I'll be giving dunce answers. What's no good? So let me check out what is my credential. And this ancient sage called Sage Kapil looked inward to say, what is my true nature? This is the beginning of Hinduism. No gods, no goddesses, nothing, no Puranic stories, nothing. His search inward is the beginning of Hinduism. And he discovered through introspection, and this it can be done now. Through introspection, discovered I am not the body, I am not the mind that I am fixated on, that tells me who I am. I am not either the intellect that makes sense of the world, neither am I the ego that's holding everything together. I am something different. It's not just belief system. You say, oh, I believe in it because I drink coffee and I think it's right. Actually, you actually experience it. I'm telling you from first-hand experience. You experience yourself as something different from what you think you are. You actually experience it firsthand. When this experience is not fuzzy, like daydreaming, you close your eyes, oh, I can see God. It's not like, it's very dynamic, very intense. So that experience is the only way Hinduism started. What is my true nature? That is the beginning of Hinduism. We are more than what we think we are. We are dramatically different. And that is what Kapil discovered. That's the beginning of Hinduism. It's called Sankhya Darshan. No gods appeared in the Sankhya Darshan. So that is how we started. But then we said, in order to engage with this kind of very subtle idea that my true nature is something different from what it appears as, let me now use some ploys. This was done not artificial setting, oh, let's use ploys. This happened as human nature. That is how the idea of gods and goddesses entered the system. To engage our attention with this kind of deeper vision regarding reality, we had to manufacture the super personalities to think about, to build relationship with, thereby becoming spiritually enlightened. So this is, if you like, a ploy, a method we use to become spiritual. But that is the original journey was no gods.
So we have one feedback from a viewer on YouTube. It's Frederick Morley Kirk, and he says, I was a confused Christian. You helped me realize I was a Hindu. You helped me understand love logically and more beautifully. Thank you. So thank you, Frederick.
I must thank him. I tell you why. This is not a new thing. It's happening to me all the time. When I was in the BBC program, there was a priestess sitting next opposite to me who was promoting the idea of women bishops for women in Christianity. And she jumped up and said, Jay, after listening to, I think I'm a Hindu. I said, good for you.
So we have another viewer on YouTube called Prajwal Saini, and his question is, what should I do with myself? Do I go towards the path of material life, or should I take sannyas? I'm only 20 years old.
Okay, look, my friend, don't rush into sannyas. It seems so easy and nice because people go in orange robes and people give them food and they respect them and touch their feet. It also is a good way of living. No, it is not. When you want to take on sannyas, it's a very tough task, very tough journey. Because all your kind of material goals have to be abandoned. And suppose you have kind of attraction to the other gender. You can't allow that now to flow. So you're going to bottle it up and become a weirdo. Right? Sorry to say that. So it is better to go through a worldly life and become mature and grow out of the worldly life and then embrace a spiritual life rather than jump into the spiritual. Oh, it looks so idyllic and so special. It is not. It is hell. When you join a monastic order, the restriction they place on you will you run away. So I would suggest, I don't know you personally, but I still suggest, go through a worldly life, see the image, see the, if you like, the kind of hype that is being promoted to you that you are absorbing, and you say, I've grown up the hype, I don't need this hype anymore, getting married and children. It's just a hype I have to live up to. So once you become mature and grow out of this hype that is imposed by society on you, you will automatically turn spiritual without the tops and tails. So you can be a householder and still lead a spiritual life. Look at me.
So we have another question. This is from Irene Villani, and the question is, what is your advice to people who are newly coming to Hinduism? Okay,
first of all, let us again go back to the roots of Hinduism, which says you are a living tradition. You are not stuck in a rut like other traditions. They are stuck in a rut with what the teachers taught them 2000 years ago. We are not stuck in a rut. We are a live tradition. So if you want to embrace this live thing, you must catch hold of a live wire. I'm talking about nice language. The live wires are those recent personalities who are spiritually enlightened. Grab hold of one of them. You get a shock. You start shining up. So grab hold of a live wire of recent times, but be aware, 99% people in the field are crooks, bluntly called crooks. Do avoid them. How do you know? When they use religion for making money, when they use religion for personal promotion, when they use religion for kind of name and fame, run away from them. When they take on religion so that you become the devotees and they can grab you and make you squirm, they are no good to you. So find the right, genuine spiritual giant of our times and go on to that person's teachings that will lift you. That is the way to start your spiritual journey. It's nice to focus on the antiquated stuff of the Vedas and the Upanishads. I say, catch hold of a modern one. You get modern Upanishads. Why do you want to go back to the old one? So I would say this is the best way to start your journey. Recognize the evolving face of Hinduism and embrace the evolving face rather than the antiquated face. You are safe then.
Brilliant. We have one question from a Facebook viewer. It's a Kashlan Necker, and he's asking, does the concept of having a soulmate or a twin flame exist in terms of Hinduism?
It does. For example, this reflects with some fortunate people. Sometimes you discover a soulmate, means a partner that's going to come and accompany you during your life, who embrace similar ideas as you do. Then you become great support to each other. When one is down, the other will jack him up, etc. So if you find a soulmate who is on the same spiritual journey as you are, then it's a good support to kind of hang on to that person and progress spiritually jointly. And that is possible. That is true. We have seen examples of that.
Amazing. So we are now at 52 minutes into the broadcast. I think it's time we can bring it to a close. So folks, I'd like to thank you all very much for joining us today and for the last year's support. Jaybai, do you have any final words before I close?
At the start of this year, let me say thank you very much, Nishit Bhai. You've been, you know what? Why I like Nishit Bhai? He's not a theist. He doesn't believe. He says, I'm not sure. I'm sitting on the fence. He's agnostic. A best person to keep me on my toes and to talk sensible stuff is somebody like him. He'll say, no, I'm not sure. Why are you talking sensible stuff? So it is so nice for me to have a companion like Nishit Bhai to prompt me, to kind of keep me in check. And that is why I have to be very grateful to this gentleman who's sitting next to me.
I'm always happy to be on the broadcast. I love the viewers here and the interaction that goes on, helping each other out. I can see the community is growing. And in fact, this year we've got some exciting things that are coming up. We've got some new variations with the broadcast. Like we've said, once a month or so, we will bring in viewer questions via video. We will be starting up a new community area. So we'll be growing an area where you can all hang out, which will be our own Hindu Academy area. And we'll be posting some exclusive content over there. You'll have access to Jaybai through that platform, etc. We will share more information as we develop this platform further with you all, and we look forward to having you all coming on there and making it one of the leading Hinduism platforms in the world.
Can I say add one more thing?
Yes.
Some viewers complain. I understand the complaint. They say, Mr. Lakhani, you keep talking about the same subject again and again. You seem to getting repeat questions. Reason the new viewers join us and they ask the same question: what's the law of karma? What is reincarnation? So I have to go over it again. It's a sad thing. We had to stop it. So we decided, Nishit and we, that we should now take on thematic approaches. So what I'll do, for example, is one whole session I'll just focus on, say, reincarnation. One whole session I might focus on the idea of gods and goddesses. So like that we have a thematic approach, or we might do one session or few sessions on the Upanishads. They are lovely materials. So we'll go over some of these kind of more thematic approaches to make this our presentation much more accessible and nicer and more warmer and much more comprehensive. We are planning to do that as well.
We will also try and get you some different presenters onto the show.
I want you to stay on this
and make it a little bit of a change as well. So now, with every new year comes this thing that is called the New Year resolution. And we all start off with a great intention, and within 4 days it is all gone, most of them. So that's the typical lifespan of a New Year's resolution, 4 days. But what I want you to do is, I want you to take up this one idea. This is a quote from Swami Vivekananda, and I want you not to do it for 4 days. I want you to do it for the rest of the year. So the quote is this: take up one idea, make that one idea your life, think of it, dream of it, let the brain, muscle, nerves and every part of your body be full of that idea, and just leave every other idea alone. This alone is the way to success. says Swami Vivekananda. So with that, I'd like to wish you all a very happy New Year again. See you next week on Saturday at 2 o'clock. Bye-bye for now.